Hey everybody, in this lesson we are going to look at the adjective Hey everybody, in this lesson we are going to look at the adjective clause, which is also referred to as a relative clause. A relative clause, adjective clause, same thing. And what these clauses do is they help define a noun. They help describe a noun so it's clear what the person is talking about. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. Point one. A defining relative clause is like an adjective, for it describes the noun or person by giving details about it. Example, this is the shirt that I got on sale. This is the shirt that I bought last week. This is the house that had the party. This is the house that I told you about. The class that I took is no longer offered at school. The class that I teach is fun. Do you know somebody who speaks French? Do you know somebody who teaches French? So here we have examples of relative clauses. They help describe a noun. Point two, we use that and which in defining clauses with nouns. So for example, the car that I just bought is really fast. The cafe that I usually go to is closed today. The town that I grew up in is not the same anymore. The dog, which lives over there, is very scary. Now, usually in spoken English, we use that and not which. That is by far the more common word we use in defining clauses with nouns. Point three, we use that and who in defining clauses with people. Example, I know a guy that owns his own island. I know a guy who owns his own island. I only date people that don't smoke. I only date people who don't smoke. So here, either word is fine, but you can't use which. All right, point four. If the noun and the subject of the relative clause are the same thing, then you can omit the subject in the relative clause. Example, I bought a car that runs on solar power. So the car runs on solar power, so we don't have to say the subject again. She lives in a house that is over 200 years old. So the house is over 200 years old. Again, the subject in the relative clause is the same as the noun, so you don't have to say it again. Number three, he has a last name that is very hard to pronounce. 4, we have an old TV which only gets 3 channels. So in those last two cases, again, you're using the same noun again as the subject, so you don't have to repeat it. And that is it. So that was a brief description of adjective clauses or relative clauses. There are a lot of rules to it, but basically the ones you saw there are 90% of the usage. And we use them a lot. So listen for those adjective clauses. We say them all the time. And yeah. And if I said noun, did I say noun clause? If I said noun clause, I meant adjective clause. We have another issue on noun clauses. And in that lesson, you will learn a lot. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, and take care.